yourself into your favorite characters. Who do you want to be today? This is DIY Cosplay Shop.
What's up guys, I'm Elizabeth Rage and today I'm going to show you how to make Korra's Book 1 outfit from Avatar Legend of Korra. This is one of my favorite shows and I've already cosplayed Asami before, so I am so excited to show you how I just made Korra. Let's get started. One of my favorite parts about The Legend of Korra is that the artists do such an amazing job of releasing all of the concept art so you can see it, and that's super helpful for cosplayers. Now, right over here we get to see Korra in her light blue top with white trimming on the shoulders and on the neck, and she also has sort of tribal armband on her right arm with like arm guards on the bottom by her wrists. She also has a sash that ties around her waist in brown that's lined in fur. And then her hair, which is going to be super annoying to do, but I'm going to do my best to make it look as much like that as possible. So let's do the thing. Now it's time for the shirt. For the shirt, we want to use our light blue stretch suede and our cream stretch suede. This way we have a lot of movement. Now, first thing I did was cut out the pattern onto the blue suede, and I cut out 2 pieces so that I have a front and a back. After that, I cut out 4 strips of cream suede, about 2 inches wide and about a foot long. I folded them in half and sewed them to the sleeves of one of my sides. I'm going to do the same thing to the other side so that they both match. I like using my serger or overlock machine for any fabric that has stretch because it still allows the fabric to stretch even after you've sewn it. You'll probably notice a chain-looking stitch right where the hem is. That's what the serger does. The last thing we have to do for our shirt is add the piping around the neck and the V in the front. To do this, you're going to cut down around 2 to 3 inches depending on how low you want your neck piece to go, and that's going to go right here on your neck. Then take 2 more pieces of folded cream suede and sew them at a 45-degree angle so that they make a triangle like this. Then you're going to want to pin the 2 pieces together. To do this, you're not going to go right side to right side like you usually do when you're sewing. Instead, you're going to take the right side of your cream piece and pin it to the wrong side of your blue piece. This way, when you fold it over, you have a nice clean hem on your right side. So at this point, our look is almost complete. To finish off the top, I used 1 more strip of the cream suede using the same technique. I then just tacked it down to make sure everything stayed nice and flat. Now for the pants, this step is somewhat optional. You can just as easily go to the store and pick up a pair of baggy blue sweatpants to achieve the same look, but I wanted mine to match my top, so I made them out of suede and used a pair of old pajama pants as a pattern. So to make your own pair of pants, what you want to do is find another pair of pants that you already have that are a similar shape to the ones that you want. Turn our pants inside out. Fold them in half and grab them where the pants make an X in the center of the crotch. Now take the front and grab at this point and fold your pants in half and try to flatten them as much as possible. And trace around. You're then going to do the same thing for the back. Grab it by the center, flatten them out, and trace around. You can totally leave a 1 to 1.5 inch seam allowance as you're tracing to make sure that your pants are going to be baggy enough. After you cut it out, you'll have 4 pieces, and then it's time to sew them all together. And then you'll have a pair of pants. If you want to, you can add elastic to the bottom of each leg in order to make sure that your pants stay tucked in your shoes. But that part is completely optional. The next part we're going to work on are the boots. I found this pair online for around $20 and cut them down to size, but you can use an old pair that you get at a thrift store or anywhere else. Actually, the more worn in they look, the better. So to finish off the boots, you're going to need a strip of brown fabric and some fake or real sheepskin that you can get either online or in a fashion district or at any sort of craft store. Now, the first thing you have to do is just cut your sheepskin into a piece that looks like this. Step 1 for your sheepskin is just folding it in half, right sides together, and sewing up the seam right here. Once we have it all sewn together, we're going to want to put a little bit of hot glue all the way around the edge of the piece. This way, when we fold it over, we're going to have a nice fluffy edge, and none of the suede on the inside is going to show. Now that that's done, we're going to want to slip our fur piece over the top of the boot. Now we're going to want to bring up the fur a little bit so that we can fold it over into the boot to make it look like it's coming from the inside. It's important to try to match and make sure your boots look like they come from the same pair. Once you have the fur to a spot that you like, it's time to glue it down. You can also hand sew and tack the edges down if you want it to be super, super clean. Once you have the front piece glued down, unfold the inside of the boot. You're then going to want to put a little bit of glue on the inside and fold it back in, making sure that it stays. Now the fur part is done. Next step is just applying the brown strip of fabric. I'm going to start in the back with a clean edge on this side. Last, to cover the seam in the back, I'm going to take just a small strip of the brown suede and make a little square or rectangle right over that seam, just so it looks cleaner. And there we go. Next thing we're going to do is Korra's upper armband. I already made one here, but I found that my triangles are a little bit too wide, so I'm going to make it again and show you how to do it. There's a lot of different ways you can go about making the armband. I've looked online and seen some really amazing ideas. Some people have even hand beaded the entire thing. But that's going to take way too much time for this video, so I'm going to do it a lot simpler. The first thing you're going to need is a cream piece for the base. I'm using a piece of vinyl that's backed in felt, so it's going to feel really nice on my arm. My piece is about 3 inches wide and about a foot long, but you'll measure it to your own arm. I'm just leaving a little bit of extra so I can cut off the excess later. You're also going to need 5 to 7, or however many you need to fit your arm, triangles in a blue leather or suede or felt or any other fabric you want to use. These will fit inside your cream piece and be applied as an applique. This blue is just a little bit darker than the blue of her shirt, so make sure you get that color right. And these will just be slightly smaller than your cream piece so that you have room to add your blue band. For your blue band, I'm using the same fabric that I used for my pants, about 1 inch wide and around the same length as my tan piece. The last thing you're going to need are round fasteners. You can pick these up pretty much anywhere, and they're really cheap and they give a really nice beaded look to the entire thing. I colored mine in with a silver Sharpie, but I might also go over it later with some light blue paint. Now that we made Korra's upper armbands, it's time to make the lower ones. I've already made one of them, but since she has 2 arms, she has another one. For this is really easy. All we need is a square of blue stretch fabric. This is the one thing I'm not doing in suede for this costume because I had this extra blue stretch laying around. It's really important for this fabric to have stretch because it's going to have to slip over your forearm. After that, we just need 2 strips of cream suede, the same one we used for our top. We're going to be applying it the same way as well, by folding it in half and sewing it to the right side of the fabric so that we can fold it over. It's important to use the serger for this to make sure it maintains its stretch. For the sash, you're going to need 1 brown triangle that looks something like this. It doesn't really matter because you're going to be fitting it to yourself, but just make sure it has a point at the bottom and that you're able to wrap it around your waist. Now, Korra's sash has white fur on it, so I found this really, really awesome synthetic yak-looking fur. I feel like the crimpness of it has a really good, realistic look. It's really important when you're cutting fur to make sure that you're not cutting the actual hair as you cut the fabric. To make sure you're doing this right, hold the fur up so that everything hangs down the way it wants to fall. Turn it around. Whenever you're cutting fur, you want to make sure that the wrong side is facing you. Take your scissors and wiggle them between the hairs until you can almost see your scissors through the fabric. Every time you want to make little incisions, making sure you're not catching any of the long hairs in the process. When you take your piece apart, you shouldn't have any cropped off hairs. All of the hair from the top to the bottom should be facing downwards. Korra also has a tabard piece that lays under the sash and over the pants. It's a slightly darker blue than her pants. So we're gonna cut out 2 pieces that look something like an upside down house. You're gonna sew them together on 3 sides. After you've done that, you can sew off the top to seal it. This part will be tucked inside your pants and fastened with the sash. I got to say in your pants on camera. So there you have it. That's how you make Korra's Book 1 outfit. I really hope you guys enjoyed this tutorial. If you have any questions on how I made anything, comment down below. I'll try to answer you as best as possible. Also, let us know, if you lived in the Avatar universe, what kind of bender would you be? Or would you be a non-bender? Equalist rights, am I right? Anyway, you can follow me on Instagram. The link's gonna be somewhere around here. And until next time, I'm Elizabeth Rage, and now you can cosplay.
Hey everyone, thanks for watching. Hit that like button if you want to see more and tell me what to build next. Crossovers, mashups, we'll do it all. And don't forget to subscribe.